Okay, let's take a look at our handout 6-9. And let's look at example number 1. Jason jumped off a cliff into the ocean, Acapulco, while vacationing with some friends. His height as a function of time could be modeled by the following function. So I know I am working with feet because my A value is -16. It says how long is it going to take Jason to reach the maximum height. So that deals with the vertex. So our vertex is going to be the how long, my seconds, and then I will be able to tell how high my height. Okay, so remember, your x values in these problems are always time, and the y value, your output, is always height in either feet or meters. So to get the x value of my vertex, it's -b over 2 times a, and I get a positive 1/2. So 1/2 is the x part. So 1/2 second. So you can put 0.5. I'm just going to use a fraction. Now, what was Jason's maximum height? This would be the y part of your vertex. So we're going to plug it into the function. -16 times 1/2 squared plus 16 times 1/2 plus 480. 1/2 squared is 1/4. 1/4 of -16 is -4. 1/2 of 16 is 8. And then we're going to add this together. And the y value, I get 488 minus 4. So 484 feet. Units, don't forget your units. So this would be my vertex. This says, how long did it take Jason to hit the ocean, to hit a height of 0? This is where we're going to use our roots. We know one root will be negative because he is not starting on the ground. He is starting on the cliff of 480 feet in the air. So we are going to use, we might could factor this and it might be factorable. I'm going to try that. If not, the quadratic formula works every time. I'm going to factor out a -16. That leaves me with t squared minus 1t plus, and having my handy dandy calculator accessible through this whole lesson. Let's see if 16, yes, it divides nicely. Now, we know -16 set equal to 0 is irrelevant, so we can kind of forget about that factor. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down just to be thorough. Let's see if this trinomial is factorable. I have a, which is now 1, times 30, and I have -1 as my b value. Let's see, oh, 6 and 5, nope, because it needs to be, oh, look guys, when I factor this out, and I factored out a negative, this should be -30, -30, nice. So this is going to help us out because we need these factors to be negative, well, one of them to be negative. So let's start over. -30 is your A times C value. -1 is your B value. The two numbers that multiply to give you -30 is -6 and 5, and we wanted the 6 to be negative because when we add them, we want -1. Fantastic. So I have t minus 6 and t plus 5. So remember, your roots is when we set it equal to 0 when y is 0. So I'm going to set -16 equal to 0. That's irrelevant. And then I can set t minus 6 equal to 0, as well as t plus 5. This equation gives me t equals +6. This one gives me a negative. So this one is irrelevant. This is the one that tells us how many seconds it takes Jason to hit the water.